Welcome back to Spey Casting with Jon. I'm Jon Hazlett of the Ashland Fly Shop. The next cast we're going to do here is called the Perry Poke. The Perry Poke's a great sink tip cast that we do off our upstream side, and it just gives you a lot of 180-degree power. We'll get more into that. But it's a great sink tip cast. It's something to mix it up, and if you find yourself in a situation where you're having a hard time executing a cast, when you have a heavy sink tip and a bigger fly, it's a go-to cast. And the fundamentals of the Perry Poke cast, a poke in general, is something you can apply to other casts, and we'll get into that as we go here. So here we go with the Perry Poke. So here we are, we're going to do the Perry Poke. And the Perry Poke, a guy named Perry, and I can't remember if it's his first name or last name, but I've heard the story, and I think it goes something like this. He was sink tip fishing, and he was attempting a single spey, and he just couldn't quite get it in a consistent spot. So what he did is he just dumped his line, made a D-loop, and delivered it, okay? And so if you're familiar with a single spey, you start with a single spey setup, which looks like this. And as opposed to executing the cast, you just dump the line. See, I'll just drop my rod, line lands in a pile. Now I make a D-loop and deliver the cast. It's a real popular cast amongst sink tip fishermen. It gives you a really good directional load. And what I mean by that is I call it 180-degree load, which basically once I set it up and dump it, my rod's going to go right back into my D-loop and right at my target. And with any cast, whether it's single hand or two hand, I want to apply the power into my D-loop so my forward cast, it's fully energized. Great cast for that. So, single spey setup starts with a lift. I dish, and as my anchor touches down, lift, dish. My anchor touches down, I just drop my rod. I dump the line. From here, I'm going to make a D-loop and then execute the cast. Perry Poke. Here's my lift, my dish, poke the line, make my D-loop, deliver the cast. One problem that guys have with this cast is after you poke the line is where the rod tip goes. I'll show you what I mean. So here's my setup, okay? I've dumped the line, or I've poked the line. From here, my rod has to come around and up to my key position. If I come straight back, well, you can see what happens. I'm in trouble, okay? I'll show you what I mean by that again. My rod's going to come around and up to make my D-loop. Around and up. Just like that. Around and up. Just like when you form any spey cast, as you come around the horn on your sweep, my rod's got to come around and up to my key position. If I come straight back, we call it cutting the corner. And it's really easy to do that on this cast. Okay, so I poke the line. If I come straight back, I'm in trouble. What I've got to do is come around and up to make that D-loop before I go. So be aware of that. So, pretty easy cast. I mean, here's the deal. Every spey cast has an anchor D-loop forward cast. It doesn't matter how it gets there. It doesn't matter how it gets there. I can make a poke type cast by doing a double spey setup. I poke the line, now I make my D-loop and go. I can poke out of any cast. You'll see guys doing that. There's situations, fishing situations, where that might be your only option. I'm up against a bank, we got tight brush. Maybe I'll do a double spey setup and I'll poke it way out there. And then I'll just make a shallow D-loop and go. So sometimes you can just poke your way out of a bad situation and still make a spey cast. Anchor, D-loop, forward cast, that's all we need. So Perry poke, single spey setup, poke the line or dump the line, make a D-loop, and deliver it. So that was a Perry poke. Get out there and practice. Good fishing to you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.